Hello everyone, this is Here's Trivia. Welcome back to Season 4 of our subscriber game tournament as we continue here in Round 1. Now wrapping up Group B with its sixth and final match between Will Be Deed on the green side versus Heavenly Demons on the red side. And this one's a very important match for both players because they're both currently 1-1, having beaten Mengde and lost to our runaway champ of Group B, in Fulden with his charging cavalry and elephant comp. Now, for these two, the winner of this match will advance automatically as the second place finisher. And for the third place finisher with only one win, there's a chance they could be a top 4 out of the 6th third place finisher, and they can advance that way to round 2. So a very important match for both players, and we'll see what compositions they have brought to this battle. Starting with Will Be Deed, he's bringing in Xu Huang, Wen Chou, and Zhang Bao. So we have ourselves the cheap and efficient Qingzhou infantry here, the D variety that counters cavalry. And then we have some Xiongnu calves, I believe those are. Interesting choice. I don't think they're that great, but they're not terrible on Wen Chou. And then finally, rounding out the comp, we have a splash of Yellow Turban infantry options, and most importantly, that Yao Guai Hunter for vision protection. I believe Will Be Deed just doesn't want to get cheesed by a Yan Bai Hu poison volley against his very heavy infantry composition here. Then looking at Heavenly Demons, I believe we've seen this composition before. This is the Sun Jian, Sima Yue, and Zhang Liang composition, where we have the Tiger Guard providing the resistance bonus on the guard passive, 2 Protector of Heaven, 4 Shu Raiders, and those 6 Tyrant Slayers. I believe this is the comp that Heavenly Demons got his earlier win on, and we'll see if he can do the same in this battle. Now, as we load into battle here, the deployment looks pretty standard, and for Will Be Deed's side, having the Yao Guai Hunter means he can see all these hidden units, and there will be no surprises for him. And aside from that, the cavalry's in the front. They're hidden, Xiongnu calves over here. They do have good charge bonus, but they sort of have a weaker sustained combat ability with slight favor to their defensive capabilities here. It's an interesting mix. We'll see how they perform here. And of course, these Qingzhou halberds will be his main front line, and then there's a mix of Yellow Turban units behind that. The generals are very strong. Wen Chou has his roar. Xu Huang can combo with his roar, because there are 2 different type of roar for morale, so he can actually do it at the same time for 48 morale debuff, which is actually super powerful. And then there is the Flame of the Phoenix on Xu Huang as well as a very strong weapon. And on Zhang Bao, we have a ability to increase attack rate, as well as a splash damage on him as well. So overall, pretty powerful setup on the generals, and in response, we have 2 sets of Flame of Phoenix on the 2 sentinels here. Zhang Liao has some passive bonuses, nothing too crazy. He does have to hit a health condition for that to activate, and we'll see how the battle will proceed. He also have his infantry in the middle and his cavalry on the flanks. Both players are going to take some time to look at what they're up against, because it's blind all the way until the start of the battle. And Will Be Deed is shifting everyone. Interesting. Why? What's wrong with fighting in this opening here? And we have the generals advancing. Well, technically these are still hidden. So there could be a misread on the generals, and they want to try to harass some of the range unit, and they could get punished by the cavalry springing up, but there's nothing coming back to support them. Yao Guai Hunter moving up to try to just get some poison shots on the infantry. The generals are facing off against generals. They're backing up, but when you back up and they charge you, they can probably land a free hit. Not a problem if you have backup behind. The cavalries have sprung forward. And so have these calves. So there's not enough room to get a chase. The poison arrows are still trying to do their thing. I don't know why the infantry line has to go here. That move doesn't make a lot of sense. Getting the cavalry poison, not a big deal. The infantry are the ones that are much more vulnerable to the poison, and they're starting to hit that now. Having a good range block chance is not going to matter. As long as one unit get hit, the entire group is getting poisoned, and the poison tick will be on all entities. So now the Algray Hunter is actually just flexing. Range block chance does not help here. I mean, it does move it above 100%, but as you can see, the poison is still going to latch on. Alright, the infantry's coming back. Yeah, I didn't know why they had to go the other way. It's not like they had a better angle on that side for anything. They're just trying to buy time for the poison to take on everyone. They can now fire this one. It takes a lot of micro for the poison unit, so it's powerful, but it takes a lot of work. These are vulnerable. Yep, indeed. They're just trying to get a general charge on that. But let's see if they can get out, right? They don't want to get caught. Everyone's being sent over. And if they're being sent over that way, they're not charging and the cavalry's going for it. The infantry's countercharging each other. Wow. Aggressive. Well, we just have a straight up clash. We'll see if the Shu Raiders are better than the Qingzhou units, which I doubt. Ooh, getting absolutely clobbered. We have a clump. Now, ooh, smash ability going down left and right here. I don't think they got most of the cavalry. They got a few. The roar stacking, routing everyone. Yep, that 48 points. Oh, they're trying to counter it a little bit, but the wavering has started because you get chain route on top of that. Now, they will bounce back when the effect ends. We'll see how much damage they can do or if the cavalry can come in. The Tiger Guard is trying to support the generals. That roar combo really did a number. They're charging a little bit too late. I think Wobidi was caught sleeping here. If he had charged in the cavalry right after, he would have been able to keep the chase up. But now he actually just threw away his own cavalry because the AoE is coming on them. So the cavalry's done. We got the absolute advantage on Tyrant Slayers trying to kill generals. And the Shu Raiders, despite that first unit losing, has come out ahead after lasting through the misplaced devotion. It's going pretty one-sided in his favor. We'll see if he can carry it through. We got dismounted generals trying to join the fight against the protectors. The poison arrows are still ringing. Getting the command on chasing the right unit is going to be very key here. And we'll see if the dismounted generals make a difference here and can find their target. For Heavenly Demons here, just keep the generals out of the fight and just let the Tyrant Slayers hunt down these generals slowly. Sima Yue needs to get out. Alright, they're pretty clean. They're going after some of the infantry, which is a smart move. Like Yagwei Hunter should get killed. But they're not going for... are they? Now they're letting the slams happen on their unit as they crowd. And they come back, but they're dismounted. Don't come back. Okay, they have to run. Yeah, the dismounted is going to do a lot more damage. Another roar combo. I think because the generals are dismounted, these three that are mounted should actually just hunt down all the green infantry and start forcing an army loss. The only two generals that are unbreakable will be these two, and then we don't have to deal with Wen Chou anymore. But that slam on both sides. The cavalry basically died to AoE ability. So we have our first death. Will be the lost Zheng Bao. But looks like Sima Yue is going to go down as an answer. Got one more Flame the Phoenix out. That doesn't do too much, and he's dead. Zhang Liao comes in, Sun Jian comes in. Can Sun Jian dismount to join the fight, or else it's 2v1 over here? Xu Huang looks like he's going down. Xu Huang's a good target choice because he's the unbreakable one between the two. And if you're trying to get an army loss, you would try to go for him, but I think the weapon difference is a little bit too much. Both of them have basically battle axes, and that's a lot of damage. They have one protector left, but that's not super healthy. Stuck in a fight. These yellow turban units, the poison arrows coming in. Sun Jian can try to do an AoE. Oh, he got dismounted. Okay, that clears basically all three. Now, Protector should be targeting Xu Huang real quick. Try to get some charge damage on him before they rout. The Roar. The Qingzhou unit coming in. If they kill Xu Huang, maybe there's a chance, but Xu Huang's just getting a lot of damage on Sun Jian right now. Oh, Sun Jian got match combat with the Qingzhou unit, wasting attack timing. He's trying to do the AoE. Play not worth it at this point. But we did take out Xu Huang, but there's not much health left. If it's just Vengeful versus Sun Jian, I heavily favor Vengeful with 1 axe, and that's it. Any unit still alive? Nope. Very, very close battle. And in the end, Will Be Deed ekes out with the power of his general usage. Both players did pretty well in that cavalry exchange. I thought Heavenly Demon had it secured once he got the Xiongnu Cav clumped up and he slammed it. He had the Tyrant Slayer advantage. I think the lesson learned here for both players, they made the same mistake. You group the cavalry together, you send them together, they're way too clumped, you're reducing your own efficiency, as you're giving an opening to enemies' Flame of the Phoenix ability or any sort of AoE ability that they have. In particular, the Xiongnu Cav were sent to charge at one particular end of that cavalry formation, so all 4 were kind of on the right end of that battle, and then they got slammed and taken out. The Tyrant Slayers went in, all 6 were pretty healthy at that point, into the enemy generals, which were clumped together. I think if they had spread out, I think the strategy there, once the enemy cavalry was killed, should have been all the cavalry spread out and go after the infantry. Help the Shu Raiders, who were also winning at that time, clean up the enemy infantry. If the enemy infantry are all wiped, you're going for the army loss victory, and then you deal with less generals, basically Xu Huang at the end, Zhang Bao as well. And then at that point, you're dealing with less enemies, and you can send in one at a time to kind of just wear them down and prevent any sort of Flame of the Phoenix usage getting extreme value on all 6 of the Tyrant Slayers, as well as a couple infantry that were there. And that really swung the battle back, giving Will Be Deed a chance to catch back up, and some of his infantry lasted quite long against that Protector. In the end, it wasn't the infantry, they went pretty much even, and the generals sort of just dueled it out, and it just happens that, you know, we got 1 extra hit and Sun Jian went down, and that was that. So, great battle. Now, it's not over for Heavenly Demons. He can actually still advance as a 2nd place finisher. His game times are pretty quick, especially his losses here. I mean, the loss is going to work against the win time, but everyone had some really fast wins against Meng De, who seemed to be the inexperienced newcomer in this group, up against some very practiced veterans with Will Be Deed and Folden, who all have played previous tournaments. Heavenly Demons is a newcomer as well, and he's done really well with his composition. So great showing Group B as well. We're going to take a 1-day break, and we'll go have Group C action come back this Sunday and next Monday with 3 matches on each day. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you all then. Bye!